Hey, what's up guys? Bajheera here. Really exciting news for you guys. Once again, we have a brand new Bajheera Warrior Pride themed t-shirts available for sale on Teespring right now until August 24th. This design is absolutely beast. Shows off your warrior power, your warrior pride, and I hope that you guys like it too. These shirts are available in men's, women's, and hoodies sizing. So be sure to act now until August 24th to pick yours up. Thanks for watching guys. Hope you enjoy the video, and I hope you enjoy the t-shirts. Hey, what's up guys? Bajheera here. Got another 3v3 arena commentary for you guys. In this session, I'm going to be playing an Arms Warrior, and our comp is WLS, which is Warrior, Warlock, Shaman. In the first match, you're going to see us going up against a Turbo Cleave, which has a lot of tools to sort of annoy a WLS. They have lots of purges to purge off all of our hots and our earth shields, and then Handsome Shaman also has lots of team healing while doing damage, which will sort of dampen the amount of damage we can do to them since our damage is such AoE pressure oriented. In addition to that, Shamans also have grounding totems and tremor totems to stop a lot of the fear casts and damaging spells that our team wants to cast. So, our main goal here is to protect our Warlock, allow him to establish his AoE cleave pressure while dealing incredible damage to the enemy team. So you can see, a Warlock and an Arms Warrior deal tons of damage together, and it definitely sets this team back a little bit. The Druid is going to step back and try to get a Tranquility, but he's out of range for his team. I'm going to step back, hit him with a Stormbolt while he's kind of out of position. While the Shaman is getting cleaved down, I'm going to Blade Storm both the Shaman and the Warrior there, trying to get enough damage to sneak and execute into the Shaman, and we get it. So, that happened kind of fast, understandably so. Although Arms Warrior and a Warlock deal a lot of AoE steady pressure, things can get out of hand pretty quickly if the enemy team even misplays slightly. So that Druid got a little bit out of position while our damage was really ramping up, and he got punished for it. So our next match is going to be against another WLS team. So this is a very popular comp. I'm going to get a cheeky little reflect here on the Blood Horror while hitting the Shaman there because I cleaved the lock a little bit, so that was pretty nice. But one of the things that I've noticed about WLS mirrors is that the first team that can get a nice swap onto the enemy team Shaman usually wins the game. But in order to have a nice swap, your team actually has to push up together so your Shaman can still heal you. Because if you're going to go solo YOLO ham on the Shaman and leave the Warrior and Warlock to hit your Shaman and your Warlock, most likely what's going to happen is you're going to get down to about half health just from the Warlock dots while your team is kind of struggling to deal with the 2 DPS attacking them as well. So, one of the things you guys got to do is work together. So, you can see everybody's all pushed up on the tomb together, which actually favors our strategy a little bit, since we are trying to go so aggressive on the enemy team Shaman. We do force a Spirit Link out of the Shaman, which is a good point for them to stabilize a little bit, which allows me to, you know, tab around, make sure I'm rending every target, keeping my damage up, and then once I establish that pressure, go ahead and return back to DPSing the Shaman, get a nice Blade Storm while everybody's stacked up. Both teams are about half health here, so things are getting a little bit scary, but I am going to pursue the enemy team Shaman because he's running away from his team. I feel very confident that our team is going to be able to handle this pressure that's going out right now. I'm going to land a nice double shockwave on the Warrior and the Shaman there. He does fake my kick, but unfortunately for him, this is just going to be a little too much damage for his healing to handle. Going to get the execute and score the kill. As I mentioned before, Warrior, Warlock, Shaman is a comp that does a lot of AoE pressure, but just because they're an AoE comp doesn't mean they don't do, you know, enough damage to end a game fairly quickly. So, I was playing extremely aggressively in this match. Sometimes you might want to play a little bit more cautiously, but since we're just sort of starting to queue together, and I'm playing with two of my friends on their ults, our MMR is a little bit lower, so I feel a little bit more confident in just like playing like an absolute berserker and going in there, forcing as much pressure as I possibly can, and it's ended up working out okay for us. If you're going to play that way though, you definitely have to have some idea of where your healer is versus like your positioning, so that you can return to a position that's a little bit safer in the blink of an eye if needed. So in this match, we're fighting up against a Resto Shaman, Shadow Priest, Arms Warrior, so it's somewhat like our comp, but maybe a little bit more single target burst, perhaps, a little bit more CC, perhaps, for healer killing. So that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to go right after our Shaman, right off the bat, and force a lot of pressure and a Spirit Link, along with Ascendance out of our Shaman. However, have a look at what happens when you leave a Warlock and an Arms Warrior to just do free damage. So, the enemy team Shaman's going to drop a Spirit Link, and I'm going to fear him just for a moment in the Spirit Link so he has a hard time casting heals. And we're going to follow that up with a Shadow Fury. So, at this point, we had been taking a lot of pressure, but the entire enemy team is dead. It's like a time bomb hit these guys. Like, they trained our Shaman, and then all of a sudden, they all died. So, that was pretty nuts. And I mentioned at the beginning of the game that Aggressiveness is an important factor to the game, but if you go so aggressive that it allows the other team to just do whatever they want, especially against a warrior, warlock, shaman, it can be a very, very scary situation very quickly. So this next matchup is going to be against an RLD, Rogue Lock Druid. This comp can do a lot of AoE pressure just because the warlock is going to be spreading dots everywhere, and they're also going to have a lot of control since this rogue is playing subtlety and they have a resto druid on the team. So they're going to start off with a bash clone on me, and they're going to try to just tunnel my shaman into the dirt, never allow him to cast a single heal, while the warlock spreads pressure on the rest of the team and the resto druid controls the rest of the team. So our main objective here is to try to force enough pressure that they're going to have to adjust their strategy from the shaman training. And one of the ways that we can do that, obviously, is just doing incredible AoE damage and forcing the druid to heal his team by throwing him in CC and putting them behind, since we have a lot of AoE pressure as well. So at this point, we're beginning to turn things around quite a bit. The druid had some sketchy positioning in the beginning, which allowed him to get feared twice by my warlock. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and hit him with that triple DR fear, just for a little bit more control. I was also able to clip that rogue with the fear as well, so that disrupts what he's trying to do, in addition to the main objective of CCing the druid. So as you can see right now, every member of the enemy team has an unstable affliction on them right now, and I'm trying my best to keep Rens up. The only thing I feel like I can safely attack right now is the rogue, since I don't really want to overextend and make my shaman leave the safety of his tomb right now. So I'm pretty much just playing a little bit defensive at the moment, not trying to let these guys get too aggressive and push up on our shaman like they were before, because that is the goal for them. If they had their ideal game, they would just ride the shaman for the rest of the game while the warlock spreads dots and the druid CCs. But like I said, since we did have such a good time spreading our damage and CCing the druid, it's forced them into somewhat of a defensive position as well. So now the warlock is on the opposite side of the tomb of his druid, which is going to force the druid to push up to the side of the tomb, which is going to allow us once again to CC him. I'm looking for a good chance to get a double shockwave there. I do land it on the rogue and the warlock. So the warlock's going to pull back to the druid while the rogue tries to stay on our shaman. He's going to get punished for this by me being able to get a little bit of a blade storm on him, forcing his evasion. With evasion up on the rogue, I don't really want to attack him too much. They are going to smoke bomb here on me. That is definitely a desperation move because the druid's in a fear and the rogue is going to die right after the fear ends, even though his last maneuver was to cheap shot me. So I didn't get to score the kill there, but we did force enough pressure to disrupt their RLD shaman training strategy. So I just had to play it safe that game, you know, play relatively defensively, not try to overextend too much, but hit what I could, keep as much damage rolling as I can so my warlock can continue to have full dots on the enemy team and use his spheres to set that team slowly but steadily further and further behind and allow us to score the kill. So this game right here, this is going to be a sad game for these guys. Disc Priest, Ret Paladin, Hunter. Even though I charged the pet for some reason, we're still going to be okay because these guys are going to push into us. I'm going to score a gigantic shockwave on every member of the enemy team. I'm going to follow that up with a nice Rex Storm. That's going to hit the Hunter and the Ret Paladin. Our main objective here is to hit the Ret Paladin, but like I said, if something's looking juicy, you might as well attack it as an arms war in this. You have the freedom to do so. I'm going to hit that Priest with a short fear, and even though it's not going to stick because he has dots all over him, but after that I'm going to catch the Hunter, the Ret Paladin, and the Hunter pet in another triple shockwave. So every little bit we can do to slow this team down, to delay their setup, disrupt their setup, delay their damage, is going to be in our favor because a Priest struggles a lot against a Warlock anyway. So even just like a little shockwave like that, once again, is going to make a big difference in terms of the amount of damage this team is taking. So you can see the pressure on their health bars is a little bit insane. They're all about like 30% health right there. The Ret Paladin has the bubble. I'm going to instantly shatter that bubble. I'm going to attack the Priest just for a second to see if I can pull him away from his team. He's going to stand right next to his whole team in the barrier, which is fine, because I'm just going to blaze from everybody on the team once again. So applying Mortal Strike to whatever I can, keeping Rend up on everything. This is basically just a PvE battle against these guys, because there's so little they can do at this point. They're going to try to go against our Shaman, but I'm just going to kill their Priest behind the pillar. Anything could have died at that point. Everything is dying at that point. That's a really rough game, but a really nice display of the incredible AoE pressure a WLS can exert on an enemy team. Alright guys, that is going to bring us to the end of this video. If you enjoy these arena tips and commentaries videos, please be sure to hit them with a thumbs up, leave me a comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!